remand. He wasn't that long out in October, and he'd done 120 days remand for his sister's boyfriend for somebody that he had assaulted. So he took the rap for it, and that was the first time he was ever in jail. The last time he was ever in jail for the day we met to the day we finished. He was never in any bother with the police at all.
Okay.
So it was a one-off. In my understanding, it was a one-off. He was pretty sane the whole time that we were together.
We're going too fast.
I know.
Did you know of him before you met him?
Briefly, because I knew his sister Mary, so I knew. I worked with Mary in the snowball factory, so I knew she was actually at the New Year's party, so I knew it was her brother. Yeah, so I did sort of know.
And how did you first interact? Did he come speak to you, or did you speak to him, or?
I think there was just a bit of flirting and a bit of looking, and.
What was your first impressions?
I thought he was okay, obviously, because.
Don't feel embarrassed. Like, you can just tell us, like.
Yeah, obviously I thought he was okay. Otherwise, you know what attraction's like. Unless you're attracted to somebody, then there's no interest. So
there was definitely a spark.
There was an attraction there. Of course there was. Yeah, that was the reason that we ended up together.
And did you kiss at New Year's Eve?
I think not on New Year's Eve, but probably at some point between the bells and the party finishing early hours in the morning. So.
And did you kind of just like exchange, I don't know, how did it work in the 80s?
Well, obviously it wasn't telephone numbers because mobile phones weren't around then. I can't actually sort of remember. We'd just sort of see you later or catch up with you later, and then because people were like hanging about, so to speak, then you would bump into them, or I can't actually remember. It was how many years ago?
Yeah.
But it was just the done way that you contacted people then.
So what was your next meeting like?
Probably very basic, if you like. We never went out on a date. I think we just met up.
So how did you go from meeting at a party to engaged?
Well, obviously we continued to see each other on a regular basis, and the relationship just grew from there. And if I remember rightly, it was a leap year that year, and round about, must have been some point in February, because I actually turned 21 that year. In the February after, bear in mind we only met in January, so at some point in February he'd asked me to marry him. If I remember rightly, it was only about 6 weeks after we were going out together, and I was sort of quite taken aback and thought it was far too early, and says no.
Uh-huh.
And then my 21st happened, and I think I asked him at the end of that month. So I was at 27, so it must have been around about the same time.
So quite early on?
No, was it? No, was that the following year? No, that must have been that same year.
So 2 months after you met him?
Yeah, so I think that is right. So I had my 21st in February, and it must have been just round about that time, because bear in mind my birthday's end of February. And I asked him when it was still the leap year, so it must have been the 27th, 28th. Well, no, it must have been about the 29th. And then I asked him, and he said aye, and we got engaged in the October that year, and we had the party.
What was your relationship like with his family at that time?
It was good. We used to get around there and we used to sit. At that point, everybody was in. Young Margaret was there, Mary was there, Michelle was there, everybody stayed in his Bobby was there. It was always a busy house, and we'd go around and we'd sit in his mum's house and watch telly and just do normal everyday things.
Do you think that there was a pressure from his family to kind of get married, settle down, do the normal kind of thing?
None that I detected. No. I think everything that we decided we'd done of our own free will. We weren't pressured into anything by anybody.
Okay. What would you say you had in common? What would you talk about? Would it just be everyday things, or did you have any like kind of?
But you need to remember the sort of person that I was too. I was very young and very quiet and very timid. We would probably just more like to talk about everyday things. We wouldn't talk about anything in depth like I would do now, obviously because I've changed as a person. It would just be everyday things. We would talk about people that we knew, because our social scene was round about that area. We would go to the pub, we'd go to Albion Way on a Saturday night, we'd go to parties round about the area. We knew a lot of people, so there was always something to do. And through the week we would just do normal things. You know, I'd go to his house, he'd come to my house, he'd go to band practice more than likely. I'd catch up with my friends, we'd go to the weekends, whatever parties were happening, we'd go to the pub, be the DJ going, we'd sit in the lounge, have a couple of drinks. Well, it was all very normal. All very normal.